All right, episode 1 of the Kwanza Global podcast. We are live. I did a trailer, actually. That was last year, though, sometime in May. Just introducing what the next episode is going to be, which is this episode 1. So episode 1 of the Kwanza Global podcast right now is purpose. Just gonna go into the topic of purpose and why it's so important. Purpose, it's your reason. It's your reason. Encompasses. It encompasses why you're doing what you're doing. It gives you, again, it's that reason for why you're doing what you're doing. I talked about this before. In recent times, where from my personal experience, I didn't really think about what my purpose was, as far as what I want to do with my life, from a day to day. So when it came to this point where I'm at now, it wasn't something that I knew relatively early on, as far as in high school, or even in college, really. I didn't really come to the realization about what I wanted to do, or really thinking about what I wanted to do, until literally my last year, towards the end of my last year in university. So for most of my life, up until that point, I wasn't really thinking about what I really wanted to do. Before then, it was like my default answer was, I'm gonna go be a doctor. And even when I said that, I didn't know what type of doctor I wanted to be at the time. But again, it was just like a default answer, because it wasn't something that I necessarily wanted to do or thought about intently or much. It was just something I said because, again, my parents, that's what my parents did. Both doctors, so they that's what they did. So that was kind of just my default answer. But I mean, I just did not give it much thought. At the end of the day, to keep it real, I didn't give it much thought. And as I continued to progress and grow, as the years went by, I got to a point where I was like, I'm about to finish university. Next step would obviously would definitely be med school, since at the time, this is what I've been saying I want to do, is be a doctor, and which is what which is why I took certain classes that I took during my time in university. So all of that was because of that decision that I wasn't actually fully sold on was, hey, I want to be a doctor. Um, I guess, I mean, at some point I kind of believed it. At some point I kind of thought of like, hey, why not? But again, I didn't really give it much thought. It was just a default answer for me because of my parents and the people who were around me who had similar professions. So that was really it. But again, as I grew, I kind of finally got the opportunity to really think about what it is I want to do. Um, and again, I guess it will. I mean, everything happens for a reason. Everything. Uh, don't believe in just coincidences and or strokes of luck, or just random by chance events. But you know, it's just whatever it is. I was going to come at a crossroads or come at a point in time where I had the opportunity to sit down and think and reflect, and it was just gonna be the perfect opportunity, golden moment for me to really think about what it is I want to do and say to myself, is this what you want to do? And then decide what it is I want to do and stick with it and run with it all the way. Um, and it's just crazy how that happened. Pretty much early pandemic. Because school had just recently shut down for me. So it wasn't. It was really early pandemic, and everything was really just starting out. Um, no shutdown or lockdown or anything like that as of that time period, but it was really just starting as far as early pandemic. But I just felt like this was like my this was like this it was just like I think it was at night, really, if I remember correctly. It was just one night I was just sitting on the computer and just thinking and reflecting. Because, man, my whole routine was shaken up, just like a lot of people. Um, but it's crazy because it's like, what if I didn't get the opportunity to really sit down and be like, is this what I want to do? I mean, I guess at some point I could have been like, I think again, everything happens for a reason. So I don't know if that didn't happen, would I have had another opportunity to think to myself and say, is this what I want to do? I don't see why not. I don't see why I wouldn't have had another opportunity. But hey, it didn't happen like that where there was no pandemic, and that time I'm just sitting up, on my PC, and I'm just thinking, you know, there's no there's no point thinking like, what if that didn't happen? Because it did. At the end of the day, it was just gonna happen. But again, nothing happens by coincidence or anything like that. So if that there was an alternate reality, well, in the alternate reality, maybe there would have been another opportunity for me to, also have that time to think and reflect and everything, and 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 decide what it is. This is what I want to do, and I just knew I wanted to make an impact. help others, put a smile on people's face, just kind of make people, feel like they can be themselves in the sense that, and who God created you to be, like not trying to be like anyone else. Like Will Smith and Denzel, for instance, are both great actors, but they're two very distinct individuals, distinct people. They're very distinct in their acting styles and who they are. They're one is Will Smith, one is Denzel Washington, but without a doubt, hey, unless you're hating, I don't know, but they're both of them are both great actors. At the end of the day, like there's no debate about that. Both Will Smith and Denzel Washington are both great actors at the end of the day. But if Will Smith was trying to be like Denzel Washington, in the sense that it's like this is, in the sense that he's trying to, um, kind of fit in to who Denzel Washington is as an actor and everything, and trying to kind of follow that path instead of trying to be Will. Will Smith probably wouldn't be the same actor as he is. You know what I mean? It's just certain things that we bring to the table as when we are authentic to who we are, that other people, aren't able to bring, because it's a uniqueness. It's how God created us all in a unique way. So, and so Will is trying to be like Denzel. We really wouldn't get the ultimate greatness of who Will is as a great actor. Not saying you can't take certain things from certain people and kind of incorporate it, but at the end of the day, it's still kind of something you put into your own. So it could be like, how does this person get to this state of mind to be able to really get this emotional on screen, right? And you understand that, but you kind of do it in your own way. So for instance, the same things that might get someone emotional in a certain scene on screen may not be the same thing that gets you emotional, but the essence of it is you understand how one gets into that space. But everyone has their own life experiences and things that we go through that kind of also play a part in, who we are, in who we are at the moment, that kind of shape us and give us wisdom and help us learn and become knowledgeable in certain things. But at the end of the day, we're not trying to fit ourselves in a box, and restrict ourselves. Because again, we have certain things that just make us, that we're gifted and blessed with, and to try to, we're selling ourselves short if we're trying to be like somebody else, in a copycat or cookie cutter kind of way. So, there's a lot of people with great talents and abilities, and I think that we don't really tap into those gifts and abilities enough, or in a way that we can really impact people and maximize those things within us that really make us who we are. I think that it's just certain things that I guess we're not really accustomed to really thinking about, Excuse me, this cold is, I got a slight cold out here, man. Got this little cough some sniffles, but I'm gonna be alright. I'm gonna be alright. I'm gonna be alright. But, anyways, again, I think there's certain things we don't really think about as far as um, the things that make up who we are. That make us us. Some of us have, I don't know, just the ability to lift people up. Just no matter what it is, we just have the ability to lift people up and make them laugh. We have the ability to tell stories, the ability to talk to a group of people and just just with boldness, confidence, and clarity. Ability to explain things. Like these are really like a lot of this stuff. It's like, well, a lot of people kind of have. You could say a lot of people have a lot of gifts that are similar, but I mean, again, just cause again, back to my earlier example, both Denzel Washington and Will Smith have a gift and to be able to act and make an impact on the big screen, but yet we wouldn't say Will Smith is Denzel Washington, or vice versa in the way that they act, or anything. Like we wouldn't we could clearly see distinctions, right? But they both are exercising their gifts. You know what I mean? So yes, you may have a gift to be able to speak to people, and so does that other person as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean you guys are going to exercise it the exact same way. You guys are still unique, so the way you may talk to people may be in a very motivational sense, and you're able to motivate people. And then the other person that's able to talk to people, who also has a gift of being able to speak to people boldly and with clarity, is able to do it in a way where it may also be motivating, but they may also do it. They may have a way of doing it where it's so vivid. Maybe the way they are able to explain things is so vivid, and it creates an image in people's minds where they can almost like picture what it is this person is telling them or trying to explain. So then not only is that person a great speaker or talker, but they're like, they're a great like storyteller. It's like they're illustrating something that, it's like you don't even have, it's almost as if in your mind you're creating this like picture book or story book of what it is this person is explaining. While another person may not be as vivid, but it's so motivating. Like they're just straightforward to the point with it, but the words they use or whatever the case may be, they're able to motivate and really pinpoint, what it is they're trying to, inspire in you, that kind of thing. So again, it's not about, it's like, oh, we got all these unique abilities, but I mean, that person can talk just as well as me, or that person has a gift of doing this too. It's like, yes, we all have our own gifts, unique abilities, and some of them you would think are, it's like, or I should say, are the same in the, as far as the what the gift is. Like some of the gifts, like I said, the ability to speak. It's like, all right, you both have the ability to speak. That's the same, but your way of speaking and the other person's way of speaking are both different. Neither is bad. Neither is less than the other. It's just different, and the way you guys exercise it or utilize it are in different ways. And so there's different people who might be drawn or might be able to be impacted or inspired by the way this person speaks because the way it allows the person to kind of visualize what it is this person's trying to say, while this other person may not necessarily do it in that way where it's like a storytelling kind of thing, but it's very motivational. So somebody might need that motivation, or that other person might need to just envision what it is, you're talking about, and in those different ways of speaking, you reach different people. It's like a niche that we all have. Like, we all have our kind of like specific, gifts that kind of give us our own lane, in a sense. And that's how I see it. So the way I'm able to talk to people or impact people is it won't be the same way you are able to do it. Either way, we are reaching, we are we're achieving the same goal of still reaching people. So that's really something that I've thought about, and I don't think a lot of people really think about, as far as like gifts and abilities and the talents that we are born with. So a lot of these things, these gifts, talents, and abilities I'm talking about, is not something that we, to be honest, we necessarily are. I mean, we can hone our skills on or rather, we can hone in and kind of exercise these abilities and gifts and talents. But it's not, or but rather, I should say, it's not a skill. It's not something we necessarily are taught or have to learn or read about or whatever the case may be. But it's something that we kind of once that is something that we're actually been using all our lives, but it's something we don't really kind of, I guess, I don't know. It's not something we notice, or acknowledge much, because it's kind of like something that because it's so natural to us. It's something that we're born with, something God already put inside us. So it's not something we earned or worked for or fought for, but it's something that's already innately within us. Again, it's something because, and again, back to the time where I thought about what it is I really want to do. I was reflecting, and I was really just looking back into my past all the way up until the present, and just thinking about what it is that I want to do. And it became a question: is what is it that I love to do? What is it that makes me me, that makes me. That's what the question ended up turning into. It's like, what is it that I want to do with my life? Like, what is it? And it just became into finding out who I am, and thinking of, just moments in my life, memories, and certain things, certain events in my life, and what is it that just gives me joy and happiness, and kind of just, it's something that I'll wake up and it's not really work, because it's who I am. It's my life. You know what I mean? So with when I talk about like my brand, or my brand and Kwanza Global, I'm not, when I talk about, it's like it's not really hard to explain, or it's not hard to envision what it is I'm trying to do, because it's something that's a part of me. Yeah, it's not a, I don't know. It's not a 9 to 5. It's not a excuse me. It's not a it's not a temporary thing. Something that, I mean, at the end of the day, it's something I've been doing all my life. I'm just putting my, it's my, Kwanza Global is basically, who I am, and I'm putting Kwanza Global, the brand. I'm putting my DNA into it, and it's becoming, and it's, everything that comes out of it is a reflection, or a product, or, you know, and I'm giving you guys, what it is that makes me, me, authentically. So I'm trying to, so creative wise, or things that I come up creatively, and certain, you know, ideas, or thoughts and imaginations, like everything that I'm trying to do to try to reach people, impact people. This is all. Everything is just a culmination of what it is. I'm about. What it is. This brand is about. So it's really, but again, this is for others. This is for people. This is to serve others. So it's bigger than me. It's it's what I love to do. But in the grand scheme of things, what I'm doing is the at the end of the day, it's to serve others. Again, it's to give others that spark. It's to help people understand that you gotta first be yourself. You gotta be authentic. You gotta be true to who you are. Again, that doesn't mean over here, like, how do I put it? It doesn't mean over here, like, trying to be rebellious, or deliberately going against the crowd just because everyone else is doing something. So you, just because of that, you deliberately decide not to do it, kind of thing. Where it's kind of like you're trying to kind of, you're kind of like not trying to fit in. You're trying to, but in not trying to fit in, you're kind of like trying to kind of force feed it. It's like, I'm not talking about like force feeding, sticking out or whatever. It's like the goal is not to try to fit in, but at the same time, it's not you're not supposed to force feed it, where you're like what's an example? Just a simple example, like hey, your whole family loves to watch basketball or something, or loves to play basketball, and your whole family just enjoys the game of basketball. It's like they want to, growing up, you guys took you to AAU games, took you to the park to play basketball. So now you're like, nah, I don't want to. He's like, nah, I don't want to play basketball. I want to play soccer. Not because you necessarily want to play soccer, but just because, you don't want to continue, I guess, I don't know, follow that tradition, or that same path of, I guess that always like everything basketball. It's like, nah, forget that. I'm only doing soccer just to kind of, like, I don't know, stick out. Not because you actually won't, not because that's actually what you want to do, but just your plan is to kind of just stick out, just to, you know, just for that, just so you're not being told what to do, in a sense, like nah, I know this is what you want me to do, or prefer me doing, or want me to be a part of, but no, I don't want to do that. So not in a force feeding kind of sense, but in the sense that man, if you have a gift for playing music, for playing piano, and you know, or certain, or something of the sort, do that, capitalize on that. Don't hold that in, because I don't know, maybe it's not the cool thing to do, or yeah, it's not the cool thing to do. Maybe you're in middle school or high school, and all your friends and or friends, classmates, your peers are all playing sports, and they're all really hype about sports and stuff like that. And you know, if you tell them you're more interested in playing music, or not even tell them, but you feel like if you go towards really you know going in on those gifts of playing music, you might not, you'll kind of not be fitting in. You won't be kind of included, or you'll be missing out in a sense, or you won't be able to, you won't be where the action is, or whatever the case may be. And in cases like that, it's like, forget that. Stand out, and it doesn't mean you can't do other things, but why neglect your gift? For what? Why would you do that? Because not only is it a gift that you're blessed with, but it's put there for a reason. It's given to you for a reason, and you know sometimes, and again, sometimes we don't really realize it, and it's because again, it's so natural for us. It's so natural for us. It's just something that we just have, so we don't really realize it. We kind of just, I guess at times it can be taken for granted too, because of that fact that it's kind of so natural for us. Um, again, it's not something that is tied to anything. It's just something that God has blessed us with and given to us. Um, you know, so all in all, we should use our gifts to serve others, to serve people. You know, at the end of the day, it's all glory to God. Because at the end of the day, he gave it to us free of charge. He just blessed us with these gifts and talents and abilities that we have. And for us to neglect it or hold it onto it ourselves and not use it to impact one another, is we're doing a disservice. We're supposed to use it to serve others, and we're not. So that's a disservice. So it's not something people really think about, or due to the fact it's just something that it's just it kind of pretty much comes so easy. And what's crazy is I don't think people really, once you begin to think about it, I don't think people might not understand it. They might not understand what it is they can do or should do with these gifts. Even if they kind of come to an understanding, or know what to do. Similar to what happened in my case, where I kind of figured out, like, this is what it is I really want to do. I think that once I figured that out, I was, I was firm in it, but but at the same, but some people not may not have that same um, that same, I guess, motivation, or that same confidence to say, to be like, ooh, excuse me, this might not be like something I really want to do. This might not be something or something I can do. You know, I think people get stuck and it's like, I can't do this for a living. Or I can't do this for the rest of my life. I can't live off this. And what I've come to really get, and thank God, like God is good, man. Like, I don't know, I just like when you start, when you're, the thing is, it's that monetary or financial burden that starts to hover over people's heads. It's like, I can't make a living off of this. It's like, this gonna have to start out as a side hustle, or this is gonna have to be a side hustle while I go while I go do medicine, or while I go study to be a lawyer, or while I go work this 9 to 5, while I do this and that. And the problem with that is it becomes a situation of plan A and plan B. You know what I mean? Like, it becomes a situation of plan A and plan B. And plan A and plan B, the problem with that is plan B becomes plan A. Like, I just, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to know, like, I want to know if y'all get what I mean by that. It's like plan B becomes plan A. Some of you might already have got it, but it's just like, how do I put it? So you have your dream, you're really, you have this great ability, this great gift of being able to play baseball, right? Like MLB bound. Like, you're nice at it, but you can't really I mean, I guess, you're at a certain stage where baseball's not, necessarily pulling in the money at the moment. Maybe, you're not, nowadays, I know colleges, college students get paid. But just for example purposes, before, these recent times, you're not making any money, right? Doing it. So maybe, or, you start doubting and you're like, one injury and that's it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So maybe, maybe I shouldn't, kind of continue this baseball thing. As a matter of fact, let's add the fact that maybe you're already hurt, right? Maybe you're already hurt. Let's say you're second year college athlete or something. You're already hurt, so you're kind of like, you're already doing your classes. You're already getting your education and everything. So it's not a matter of like, you're not trying to get an education. You're supposed to get that regardless. That's something you should always be. You should always have, regardless of what you do. Having an education. Something to, having knowledge of other areas of life and whatnot. But the point is, so your dream is to go into the MLB. So second year, you're sitting out with an injury, but you think like, what if this isn't, this may not be the safest route, or the most guaranteed surest route, because anything can happen. It's like, what what if I fall in the drafts or this or that? But this is what you love to do. You know what I mean? So if you're, looking at it from what's a more guaranteed opportunity, you might be like, maybe I should just go study, be a doctor, and kind of, or study, be a lawyer, or you know, do some, maybe I should just, kind of put this baseball thing to the side right now and kind of focus on all of this other stuff, on these different professions, and because this way I don't have to worry about getting hurt, injured. I don't have to worry about, falling in any drafts or anything like that. And I'm guaranteed a certain amount of money at this time, and I know that while MLB, I may not actually get highly drafted because of this injury or this and that. So it's like, you start weighing the scenarios and you start trying to kind of balance out, like, well, maybe I'll keep doing baseball, but this is like my plan B. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, to do that. But at times, you end up deferring to the plan B because that plan A, because it's not something that you hold dear to, it's not something that becomes excuse me, it's not something that becomes your all. It doesn't become something that's really prioritized because you have a plan B. You know what I mean? It's kind of like to keep it a buck, it's like having a chick on the side. It's like, if you wouldn't be worried if you know what I mean, that it's like a main chick side chick thing. You're not worried whatever your main chick ends up doing. Feel me? You're not gonna be the best version of yourself. You're not gonna be the best, boyfriend you can be. You're not gonna be the best husband if you can be the you're not gonna be the best man for your woman if you have a side chick on the side. Why? Because, your main chick, oh, you guys got in an argument. Oh, you have a side chick, right? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that's your plan B, because plan A, your main chick, is, oh, you guys got into an argument, so, oh, you don't want to talk to her, this and that. You go to your side chick, kind of like backup, and it becomes a bailout card. It becomes a bailout. It becomes a bailout. It becomes it becomes your escape route. That it becomes your way out from dealing with the pressure and the whatever else comes along with pursuing plan A, for going after that dream. And it's and the thing is, with everything there's a risk. With everything there's some sort of challenge. Excuse me. I mean, with everything there's a challenge. There's work to be put in. But I mean, that's just what comes to life, But I just wouldn't, at least for me personally, it just wouldn't sit right with me for me to deny what it is that I know is what I'm supposed to be doing, and then do something else that I know my heart's not in it. This is not where I can make the greatest impact. You know what I mean? And really the only reasoning that the only reasoning I would have had to go and become a doctor instead is the fact that it's safer. It's safer than, pursuing this dream running this, making this brand, Kwanza Global, become worldwide, become global, become one of the biggest, most recognizable, brands ever. That it's like those type of dreams scare people. Those type of things scare people, but they scare people because it's not their vision, it's not their dream in the first place. So it's gonna scare them. It's too much for them because it wasn't placed for them, in the first place. You know what I mean? Just like maybe their own ideas that they have for their life. I may not understand it, but at the end of the day, it's not my life to live, right? I can't live, the life, that you're living. You can't live the life that I'm living because we're two different people. We both have our own lives. We both have our own, everything. We have our own, lives to live, our own decisions to make. You know, the decisions I make, won't, will affect me and the people in my circle, directly, and they'll have a greater impact on, on me. So it's again, we all have our lives to live, so we all have our own individual decisions to make, and we got to live with the successes that come with it, the consequences and everything. But it's just a part of it. It's, I don't know. I think it's just a great topic to really just conversate about, which is why, because not only is it a big part of what Kwanza Global is about, it's one of the kind of the three. It is one of the three, main principles, of the brand, authenticity, purpose, and inspiration. So it's something I wanted to get into because it's just not really something we conversate about, or even if it is, it's not something we really understand or get into or really take seriously, or even if we want to take it seriously, we kind of maybe scared of it. But again, like for me, like I can't, like that reason's not big enough. Just the monetary value, or the financial reason. It's like I've been making upwards of $300K a year, which is that's fire. Being an anesthesiologist, $300K plus. That's fire, bro. But it's so hard to, again, I'm even having, it's hard to explain how to, at some point, those dollar signs are not as, they don't hold up to, they don't hold up to, or they don't define who you are. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what it is that makes you go, you don't know what it is that God put inside you that just that has to be let out, and to be able to reach people and all that. I think it's easy to get caught up in the dollar signs, and where it's like, man, I can't pass this up, or this is a safer route. It's like, man, I'm just trying to get this. I'm just trying to do this before 25. I'm just trying to do this before I turn 30. I'm just trying to, like, man, it's not like, man, I got kids now. I got this, I got that, and these are all, these are all valid reasons. But when you say that this is what you want to do as a plan A, if this is what you say, in reality, all those things that are, that I say are valid reasons become excuses to keep it a buck at the end of the day. Because if you say this is what you want to do, This is truly your plan A. If this is if it's not, that's different. All right, these are valid reasons. This is why you won't. It's like, but it's not like you ever said this is what you want to do anyway. It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, all right, and like you never said you wanted to, um, do this. So it's like, it's like it, you never actually said it's like, oh, this is what it is we want to do. But if you go out and say like, yo, I'm trying to, build the biggest company in the world, like this is gonna be so amazing. But man, I'm really trying to get this crib before I turn 25. I'm really trying to, own this spot, like really, move out before this and that, all this stuff. It's like, all right, what is, like, make your decision though. Is this what you want to do? Like, is this what you want to do? If it's yes, it's yes. All right, you want to move out before 25. Hey, you could still do that. But even if you don't, that's not it. If this is what if you say this is this plan A, you're gonna execute on it. You're gonna execute on it, whether or not that timeline of moving out before you're 25, or that timeline of getting your house by the around 30, or having a family at this time. Like, okay, all these things will still happen and can still happen when when you're pursuing what it is you want to do, and finding out what that is, and realizing your purpose. Those are all still attainable. But when you say you want to do something and then say that, man, I already got a kid coming on the way, man, I'm still in school, this and that. It's like, you said you wanted to do it. So if you said you wanted to do it, all these things didn't just happen. All these things you didn't just realize. All these things, you didn't just you didn't just forget about your dream. So if you said this is what you wanted to do, everything else that you're saying may hinder or stop or prevent you from achieving that dream become excuses, unless it's just not something you want to do. Ultimately, that's really it. So unless it's something that you don't want to do, unless it becomes something you don't want to do, then hey, don't want to hear it. Give it a buck. It's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But again, if it's something you say you want to do, everything that would be a valid reason becomes an excuse. You know what I mean? But if it's not something you really want to do, it's not something that you're really trying to pursue, then hey, you don't even need valid reasons. Then you're just not gonna. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to do it. But if it's something you say you want to do, and it's like, yo, you're adamant about it, and you're really sure. If you're really sure, then yeah, there's no reason to come in the way of what it is you're trying to achieve. Because again, you have to understand, this purpose thing is not a day by. And it doesn't clock out at 5 o'clock. It doesn't clock out at 12 midnight. It's you wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep. You eat, you pray, you dance, you sing, you watch TV, whatever it is. Every single thing you're doing, throughout all the day and night, your what it is you're about, your why, your purpose is within all of that. In a sense, like, there's no time where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're it's not like a job where it's like, once you leave that job, everything to do with that job stays at the job. You know what I mean? You work at Best Buy, you work at the supermarket. Like, if you're, if you work in the meat meat department, or where they do the fish department, or or you put away the produce, or whatever the case may be. Once you leave work, you're not putting away produce, or you know, uh, weighing fish. You're not doing that. You're not doing that once you leave the job. You're not doing that anymore. You leave that at the job until you clock back in. But when it comes to purpose, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop trying to impact people. Once wherever I'm at, you know, once I stop, once I leave the job, once I leave, once I leave, work, I'm not gonna stop trying to make an impact on someone's life. I'm not gonna stop trying to, make someone feel better. Put a smile on someone's face is still going to give me joy. You know, all these things it's just a part of who I am. So that doesn't stop. There's no clock out time for when it comes to purpose. There's not. So that's why it's such a big deal. So it's like if you once you know what it is you're trying to do, and again, it comes down to is what it is what is it that makes you you, right? You got to be real with yourself, right? Those gifts, talents, abilities, everything. That just sit down and think about it, and then it's like, all right, that's the authenticity part. You got to be real with yourself. Don't play yourself. Don't try to fit into what this person is doing or what that person is doing. And a lot of people try to do that where they're trying to look at what this person is doing, and they look real successful. They're making a lot of money doing this and that. And first off, you don't, that person may love what they're doing. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily mean you have to do that just because it's like, oh, they're doing very well with it. The reason they're doing well with it is because they love to do it in the first place. And then again, and, we gotta cut out that comparing stuff anyway, because again, why that person's doing it, and or why, or whatever their situation is not your situation at the end of the day. You're just making it too complicated. At the end of the day, that person has to live their life, and everything that comes with their life, affects them and the people around them. But everything that affects you has to do with your life, has to do with you. You have to deal with that. So you got to cut out that comparing first and foremost. We got to be real with ourselves. And then once we realize what we're about, we're being real with ourselves here, we can step into it. It's like, what is it that we really want to, like, how are we going to use what it is, that we have to really impact people, that purpose. It's like, all right, now I understand, like I can use my ability to play piano to really touch lives, to really, to really brighten up people's day, to really, have people get up and be like, I gotta come here and play again, play them keys, and just really, you just don't know how great your you don't know how great your ability can touch people. What you have inside you can impact people's lives, and that we underestimate that. And then inspiration again. That's the inspiration part. How great that what we have inside us can really touch countless of lives. It's all connected. But again, it takes really sitting down and thinking about it, for sure. But that financial, those dollar signs really, they only hold a weight for so long. At some point, you realize there's a lot more to life than dollar signs when it comes down to it, especially, in this life, it's really short in the grand scheme of things. And a lot of times we're worried about money so much, and that those dollar signs that we're dreaming about, we don't even end up seeing all of that sometimes, it just ends up kind of falling by the wayside, that dream, because, if you're just dreaming about the, the money and the dollar signs, eventually there's no really plan to have around it. It's just about, yeah, the money about it. And really, a lot of things can happen in this life where that could really be that motivation to make that money just becomes whatever, you know, like me, just just like losing someone close to you, man. Like man, I don't care about money, that kind of thing. Like I don't like if someone gave me $30 billion and said, like, if I just made $30 billion on some Jeff Bezos stuff, and and I was able to give all of that up, literally every single dime, just to you know like to get all that back just to see my mom again. Come on, I'm gonna do that. It's like, yo, just to see my mom again, I'll give up all $30 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? You have to really put things in perspective. You know what I mean? Like, certain things, just money can't buy and can't replace and can't compare to. It just can't. Certain things that money can go sit down somewhere. I don't care, kind of thing. So it's like, you have to really think about certain things, because at some point, that drive and motivation to make money, or all that stuff, money is needed, of course, but it is not. Money is not. Um, it is not the purpose of life, and it's not the reason for living at all. It's not. It's not. We got to be practical here. Of course, we need to make money, but when you're, a lot of times, when your goal is to just make money, a lot of times, it doesn't work out as well when you're kind of doing what it is you have to do, or doing what it is you love to do. Because when you're doing it as what you love to do, you do it well. And when you do things well, a lot of times, the success and everything else follows. And that's much better than kind of just making a lot of money. And then, there's people that make a lot of money, but the world around them, their own life is not as peachy, or as held up as people may think. Um, um, you know, because at the end of the day, it's just to make a living, man. I'm alive. I'm good. I thank God. And I'm definitely not the richest person in the world, the wealthiest person in the world, but I'm grateful and I'm thankful, and I'm blessed, and I'm happy, and I'm grateful. You know what I mean? Like, completely. So, I mean, think about it like that. There's a lot of you, you know, out there, those listening and everything. Like, just think about it like that. Like, you are not the wealthiest person or the richest person, and like for instance, even if like if you had all the money that LeBron has right now, you still wouldn't be the richest or wealthiest person. But I'm pretty sure you'd be okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you know what I mean? Like, think about that. Like, I'm pretty sure LeBron is good right now, but he doesn't have as much money as Bill Gates or as Jeff Bezos. So I mean, perspective. Think about it. Like, but I'm sure LeBron I know LeBron is good, right? Like, he's good. Uh, I'm a basketball guy, so I'm just naming basketball players right now. But Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Michael Jordan, former ball player. Um, okay, Will Smith. Let's go back to the actors. Denzel Washington. Uh, Damson Idris. Idris Elba. Uh, yeah, man. Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's go to some singers. Kid, Burna Boy. Yo, I'm sure all these guys are doing like these guys are doing well. These guys are doing very well, financial wise. But none of them are like the wealthiest in the world or the richest in the world. Like on some Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, those people type of stuff. But I'm sure they're okay with that. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they're okay with that because they're doing what they love. They're doing what they love to do. They're exercising their gifts, and they're doing it very 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 well. And they're impacting people doing it. They've impacted people. Doing what it is they love. They've inspired people doing what it is they love. Um, knowingly or unknowingly. You know what I mean? And that's think about that. So I mean, it's just the money is gonna be there, but man, that peace of mind, that peace of mind, that joy, that that state where you can just be like, where not only are you yourself are in a great place in life, but you know that you're in a position to help others and serve others around you and have them also be in a great position in life, your family and your close friends, and put them in a position where they're also doing, they also have peace of mind and are able to be happy and do what it is they love, and really just be, open those opportunities for them, and then also be able to impact people and inspire people, strangers around you, to be in a position like that. And then, alongside that, the money comes. Because at the end of the day, let's be practical here. We're not, I'm not sitting here saying like, just be like, go be homeless. Just, leave your house and leave your job and just, be happy. It's like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, especially in, pray for all the people who don't have shelter right now, in this cold, especially if you're in the New York area over here, and places experience cold like New York at this time. It's like, I'm not gonna tell you just leave your spot. It's like you'll be better off that way. The kind of thing. Don't be practical about it. It's like, what it is, the dream you have. You can make up. Once I understood what it is, I really, what makes me, like, and being real with myself and what it is I want to do. Is like, how can I incorporate that into something that I can do long term, that not only can I do long term, but I can do long term and make a living off of, as time goes on. It won't be overnight, but something that I can grow. But it's not for monetary means. It's something that people can relate to and understand and be impacted by, be inspired by. And then they, and it's not, I'm not trying to force you to buy into that. It's like, no, this is something real, and you can feel this, and you understand this, and this is for real. And that I'm going to, everything that I'm putting into this is to serve others more. Like, everything you put into it ends up, like, you get something from it. You get inspired from it. That nobody can take that away from you. That type of spark, nobody can take that away from you. No one can take that away from you, and that's something that just sticks with you. You know what I mean? That's so valuable. That's priceless. And that sticks with you. And again, the money comes and the money goes, but man, certain stuff, just lives forever. and those type of opportunities you have to really impact people, you know. But it starts with yourself, you know what I mean? You can't really tell people what it is and impact people in the way that you want, in the way that you want to. If you yourself, are still, you're still kind of teetering the fence. But, once you really get to that point where you understand, that light bulb goes off and you can, that light shines. Let it all out. Just let that light go. That shine everywhere. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I just think it's a topic of conversation we should have more often. Parents with their kids, um, you know, just anywhere in general. This conference, this topic of conversation is important. People are stressing themselves out right now. Trying to figure out is what they really want to do. But it's like, it comes down sometimes to the priorities. It's like how do you, like, certain things are the way we prioritize certain things, ends up being how, we live our life, because it's like, this is not making enough money for me. I don't care if I hate the job, it's making enough money, it's like, it's crazy because, wifey asked me a question. No, what? Wifey asked me a question, and it was a question that they had asked at her job, and it was something along the lines of, would you rather make more money? Would you rather make, good money, but your boss doesn't like you? You guys are always at each other. Like, it's pretty much, it's like hell. Your boss is always raising hell, but you're making good money, and I guess it depends on, what that would mean. I guess you guys could do the numbers on what would good money be. I guess it depends on the job, but still, you could do the numbers on that. What would be a good amount of pay? But relative to the, to the economy right now. But would you rather make good money, but your boss hates you, or you and your boss get along, you guys are real cool, but you're not making so much. You're not making, it's not terrible, but I guess you're not making as much money. You're not making a crazy amount. Like, what would you choose? And we both chose, rather have a good boss, and maybe not making a crazy amount, but not making as much money as the other job where the boss would be at your neck. So I don't know. It's your perspective. It's what you prioritize. It's what you place more value on. And to be honest, I'd rather have a peace of mind. That peace of mind, and be able to work well in my job, and be able to do what it is I have to do well, and not have to worry about fighting with my boss and all that each and every day, and kind of thing. Like, you're still coming up with a check, but that's stressful, especially if it's like Monday to Friday, or imagine it's even 7 days a week, and that's what you got to go through. I think people underestimate the impact mental health has on you. It's like, you're making a lot of money, but is that really worth your peace of mind, your mental health, your and everything? And eventually, like I said, money comes and money goes, and like, eventually that money is not going may not be enough to even keep you at that job. Because then one day, it's like you're liking that money, but man, that your boss just said something crazy, and it's like, well, there goes that job, man. Because your boss is like, oh, you're out of here. So I mean, you got to think about stuff like this though. But ultimately, this episode, as it's coming to an end, about purpose, I think it's just a topic that we should talk about more. A life with purpose, a life filled with purpose. And a life filled with purpose is just overall better because, I mean, you know what you're doing it for. You know what you're getting up for. You know what each day you're getting up, each day. Even as you lay your head, once you wake up in the morning, you're eating breakfast, whatever it is you're doing, again, it's not something that's forced. It's like you're living life filled with purpose. So each and every day is like, there's literally an opportunity just to put a smile on someone's face, to light up someone's day, to let your light shine in the littlest way possible. Like literally, just opening the door for someone is you understand. It's like, yo, I don't know. That could have just made someone's day. To be honest, you don't know. You really don't. Could have been going through a bad day and someone just opened the door for him. It's like, yo, that made me feel better. Like little stuff like that. Just smiling at someone and being like, or complimenting someone, just little stuff. All of that is just tied into once you really understand what you're doing things for. But when you're not and you're kind of just going through the motions, it's kind of like, unfortunately, there could be times where you just find you just don't even know why you're doing what you're doing or what's the purpose or who you really are, and you could just make excuses and really just see the downside and negative in a lot of things, and you're just kind of like, why am I dragging my feet and going through all of this? But it's living a purposeful life is a real perspective shift for sure. But man, I feel like it's a conversation that can go on for hours, almost, man. If everyone just has a conversation about it. But I mean, we all have a reason for being here. That's for sure. But yeah, I hope y'all loved this episode. I hope y'all loved it, and I hope y'all found it insightful or informative or got something from it. And enjoyed it. At the very least, I hope you guys enjoyed it and listened in, even if it was for a couple seconds or 1 minute, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, or even the whole, I think they said 1 hour, 17 seconds, going on to 18 seconds. So, I mean, however long you guys listened or tuned in, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And gonna be doing these every week. Looking to drop these every Friday. So you can call it Kwanza Global Fridays. Get your daily or weekly dose of Kwanza Global podcast episodes. Kwanza Global, daily dose. Well, daily dose of, we on social medias too, so you can check out our social pages and get some. Check us out daily doses of inspiration, motivation, and ability to check out our whatever we drop as far as merch and stuff like that. But as far as podcast wise, weekly Fridays is what we're looking at. But man, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Those that have tuned in for this first episode, official first episode, and many more to come. Many more to come for sure. Yeah. So this is the Kwanza Global Podcast. I'm gonna end it off. I'm gonna end this off with some dope music too, to be honest. Once I throw in a little bit of editing, not too much to do, but yeah. But signing off, Kwanza Global. sir. That's it. That's it. Wifey isn't on today at the moment, but she will be one of these weeks or so. But this is your boy, Mayokun. See if Grace will be able to get on the next one. But Grace appreciates y'all, loves y'all too. And yeah, that's it. Oh man, episode 1 done. Episode 1 in the books, man. Let's go. Feeling good. And look out for this on Friday. Hope y'all doing good. Hope y'all enjoy y'all weekend. And yeah. Kwanza Global.